Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, be sure to come join us. This group was put together specifically for coaches, consultants, service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and 7 figure level, and they want to be a part of a community that's going to do whatever it takes to help them get there. So if that's you, be sure to come check out our private community. Now, with that being said, we have today's guest who is a member of our community, and I really wanted to bring her on and introduce you to her. And she goes by the name of Jamila Bannister. Hey, welcome, Jamila.
Hey, Extus, thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. So I had the accent, and tell us, where are you from?
I am from beautiful Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean.
Love it, love it. So tell us, Jamila, what type of coach are you?
I am a personal branding and strategy coach. So I help persons develop strong, influential personal brands, both online and offline, by focusing on three things: focusing on helping them with their confidence, their content, and their communication strategies and tactics.
Mm-hmm. So you said the confidence, content,
And
and communication.
communication, yes.
Okay. So tell us, how did you get started? How did you get started as a coach?
Well, to be very honest, I left Trinidad, went to school abroad, and came back, and then I found a lot of difficulty breaking into the job market. So what I started to do was I started to write, because I was always in PR and communications in the corporate world, but leaving a corporate job to come back almost meant I had to restart from the bottom. So me trying to penetrate the job market, because the job market is tough, and it has been tough globally, really. And to be able to get back in there was a challenge. So I started to basically write on LinkedIn and put myself out there and to talk about things that would frustrate me, talk about things that I think would help people if they themselves are trying to become more visible and to be seen by the right people. However, instead of that having an impact on recruiters, it had an impact on other people who were like me, who were looking to feel encouraged and feel as though, there's hope and there are opportunities out there. Even if some company isn't hiring you, you have skill, you have expertise, and you just have to find a way to ensure that the right people see you and the right people can derive value from the services that you have to offer. So it was really taking my corporate skill and making it work in an outside of a corporate environment. And that in and of itself was a learning curve. And there are a lot of people who actually want that because for whatever reason, they may be tired of the corporate world. They want to leave. They want to be able to get out and do their own thing. They may have a business right now and they want to be able to reach their audiences in a way that is distinct from other people in the industry, distinct from their competitors. They want to be able to communicate confidently. They want to be able to show up online with the correct content and content that will position them as an authority on whatever topic or area they want to be in. And they want to be able to communicate, network, start those conversations, find themselves in the media, get coverage from the news, and get the visibility that they're looking for so that they can really bring the right type of client to themselves so that they can sell.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So you said when you started off on LinkedIn, you were just writing articles and sharing stuff like that. And you said one thing that kind of stood out to me. You said you were writing to get the attention of recruiters.
Yes.
But that didn't happen. It was a totally different segment.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Because I was always a writer, so I would always write things, but I only write when I was inspired. I really had no plan. I was just kind of writing and doing my own thing. And but when I wrote, it really would come from, I guess, the heart. And I find that those are the things that really had an impact on people. And the story I give and the story that actually happened is that I would write and then I would stop and then I would write and then, the whole job hunt would overwhelm me and I would stop. And then one day somebody met me at a party and asked me, what is going on? Where's the writing?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I not seeing? I used to look forward to your stuff. And at that point I realized, okay, I really need to get it together and be more serious, more deliberate, more more planned, more calculated, just more organized in everything to be able to put more content out there. And slowly but surely, as much as I was preaching, putting yourself out there, I was actually building that for myself without realizing it. So then I just put some structures on that and
Mm-hmm.
road, and now I am where I am.
Yeah, yeah. So in essence, with brand and personal brand and strategy. So I know you mentioned the three C's. So how did you come up with that framework of the three C's?
Well, that framework really, wow, really so much reading down, and really so much reiterations of that process. But it really comes down to self, what you put online and what you do offline. And I try to make it as simple as possible. And everything that comes out of self means that you really have to be confident in the person that you are. You have to be confident in the skill that you have, and you have to be confident in the skill, giving the value to the customer that you have. There are so many experts, there are so many people who are excellent at what they do, but they just lack that self-esteem to be able to say, I can do this for you, or to be able to say, I can do this for you and it costs X money or it costs Y money. You know, we are always too afraid to actually ask for the things that we deserve, and to demand a price for the things that we can do. You know, we always think we have to do it for free, and we have to do it for this and for that and the other. And you know, there's a stage of your development where that could probably work. But oftentimes, a lot of us don't really exit that stage. We are in a space where we continue to do things until somebody comes along and says, why are you doing this for free? Why are you giving away all your services for free? And you realize it's because you don't think it's worth more. And that has a lot to do with how confident you are in yourself, and how much you think you deserve, even though you would work and work and work and give everything you have to a company. When you have to actually do that and put yourself out there, it takes a certain level of confidence to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, building a personal brand in the digital age requires you to have content online, requires you to be strategic with the way that you put yourself out there. It requires you to be able to speak to people in an authoritative manner, help people, teach people, show them how to do things, because that is what an expert does. That is what somebody who knows what they're doing, that's what they do, right? And
Mm-hmm.
essentially, you want to be able to lay the foundation, and you want to be able to almost leave, you know, that story of Hansel and Gretel where the dad would leave breadcrumbs all the way to the destination. That is what you want to be able to do with your content.
Mm-hmm.
And even putting content out there, even as something as small as recording a video, a lot of people have, they step into that with a lot of trepidation, and are very scared about that process. So once I have them at a space where they're feeling more confident about themselves, you know, getting them to do content becomes easier because they understand what's required and they know what they have to do. The next thing now is to getting them to the space where they have to communicate in person, one-on-one, have those conversations, ask the question, be the one to initiate the talk. Because it's one thing, people are very brave behind their computers or their phones, right? But when you see they have to step up to somebody at an event, or in some sort of forum at a meeting, and they have to say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and you know what, I really admire what you do, and I think we could have some synergies. To be able to do that takes, for some people, it takes a lot of guts. And that level of communication, how to manage conversations, how to control the way the conversation goes. Some people just need support. They need a game plan. They need a strategy for how they will do that, you know, how to
Mm-hmm.
bring the ice, how to manage the anxiety, how to, you know, build up that level of, again, it comes back to the confidence. So I try to just keep the framework simple, and because everything comes down to relationship, particularly that piece when you're dealing with business to business relations. And once they're at a level where they are handling things in a particular way, then we start to look at more expansive stuff. So we start to look at more media and more PR and more big ticket things where they could speak on a media platform at an interview. And there's a gradual growth process to take them from shy, expert but shy, into somebody who's more brave and more confident in themselves, and positioning themselves as an authority and putting themselves out there as the person that people would want to work with, buy from, and be around.
Mm-hmm. Powerful stuff. I love it. I love how you kind of take something that most people find to be pretty complex, right? So most people, you say, well, how do you create a business? How do you create a brand? How do you generate sales online? And how do you get clients? If you ask the average person, they will tell it to you in such a complicated way. By the time you start talking to them, they'll kind of confuse the hell out of you, right? Versus, I love how you took something that could be complex and you've kind of broken it down into three simple categories.
Yeah.
So in essence, with the confidence now, how do you help someone go from not having confidence to having confidence? Do you have a strategy that you share with them? What's your process?
Yeah, so I actually have a 7-step framework that deals with persons starting from their mindset to their network to mentors they have in their mentors and coaches and guiding people that they have in their system. I have, but really confidence is a muscle, and you really have to work at it every day, just like you go to the gym and you work out day in and day out and day in and day out to lose that weight or to become more buff or whatever your goal is fitness wise. Confidence is exactly like that.
Hmm.
And when I provide people with that 7-step framework that takes them from starting with knowing their purpose, knowing their why, all the way down to taking action, taking those steps every day to provide to get yourself in a space where okay, I'm going to take this step today, I'm going to talk to this person today, I'm going to re-examine my social circle today and see exactly who I am hanging out with and what type of conversations they're having or what type of energy I'm having in my space. I'm going to make sure that I'm making my business to find a coach or a mentor, somebody who can help me and guide me. You know, I'm going to make it my business to understand that, or I want to train myself to understand that failure is part of my process, and that failure actually does put a lot of confidence in you, because once you know how not to do something, by the next time you have to do it, you're like, okay, I did this before, I know what doesn't work and I know what works now. So I think all of the pieces of building confidence comes from a lot of discomfort, and that's because it really does put you outside of your comfort zone. Um, but it is the everyday steps we take to put ourselves just a little bit beyond what we used to, just a little bit beyond, and we go 5 inches further, and we go 10 inches further, and we go 15 inches further, and before you know, you're taking leaps and bounds into a direction that you never thought you would have taken. So it really is the everyday practice of, and I call it the everyday practice of choosing yourself first, because that's
Hmm.
what personal branding is. Because a lot of us put ourselves last. We do everything for everybody else. We work our lives out for a company. We give. We volunteer all our time. But when it's time to put us first, to say, I deserve this and I need this, and some people are so scared of that. So I think it's a daily commitment to choose you first and to apply actions to that choice to ensure that you get where you need to go.
Yeah, powerful stuff. I know that's yeah, that's really what it is. And I think back as you were speaking, I was reflecting back on my own journey as far as how did I get here? Like what helped me create success? And I realized it was one of the places where at first I didn't understand because I was more of the person who was seeking comfort, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do this until I feel good about it. I'm not gonna do anything that doesn't really feel good. I approach the world in terms of just looking for what feels good to me. And
Mhm.
then after doing that for a couple of years and getting really good at one thing, which was getting myself in debt, because I was trying to create success without facing the music, which is without doing the uncomfortable things, without realizing that, hey, the person you are today, the only way you can get different results, the only way things can get better is if you figure out what the uncomfortable thing is for you and start working towards it every single day. Get
Mhm.
like keep pushing out of your comfort zone, and that's where that success lies. And you definitely seem to have figured that out. So now the question I'd like to ask as well too is, let's say, I love asking the question of a story, right? So with the level of success that you've created for yourself today, looking back on your journey, are there any stories that you could share with us that we could then say, oh, so that's how Jamila became who she became? Are there any stories that kind of either for the positive or negative that kind of shaped you into you being on this direction today?
Um, well, what can I say? I would think that I am very, very motivated when people tell me no, or when people underestimate my capacity. And I think every time I got silence on the other side of a job application, or it was a no, or it was a rejection, or I would go to the interview and they would tell me no, or they would say you're not experienced enough, or There was this one job that I went to. Oh, terrible, terrible job. And we went to this meeting. We spent so much time putting together a marketing plan. I put together all the branding pieces, or on some other pieces that were assigned to me. And when it was time to go into the meeting, the owner of the company actually told me to leave. And I didn't even know why. He just said, you can leave. And so I was a little confused, but I realized that it really had nothing to do with my work. It was, he just didn't like me as a person for whatever reason. He just didn't, right? I never asked a question, but what he did is that he did it in front of external people, suppliers. So it came across as almost very belittling. And in that moment, I mean, I'd gotten some rejections before, but that for me really was an undermining of the person who I was and the value I brought to the table. So I had to relate this story the other day, and I called it an oh hell no moment. I was like, oh hell no, he did not just do that to me. So shortly after that, I left that place, and the level of drive that that incident put in me to be able to move forward. It Even my old coworker, she's like, your attitude is just like insane. Like your drive is insane. I can't believe that you just walked away from this and this is what you're doing now. And I said, that's because I have determined that nobody will determine my value except for me. I will determine what that is. I know what my price is, and I know what I won't, what will and will not tolerate. So I think for me, all those small moments of people thinking that, me knowing that I had the capacity to do something, but people denying me the opportunity to get it done, those are the things would be like, oh, that's what you think? I will show you. You will hear my name again.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the huge drivers for me. It was a lot of small things, but it added up to
Mm-hmm.
where I am now.
Yeah, Paul, I love that story. Thanks for sharing. So next question becomes, what about skills wise, right? Are there any skills that you've developed over the years? Well, not really. I know there's a lot, but what's the one skill that's gotten you to your level of success today?
Oh, I would think from a mindset point of view, I would say my willingness to go back and learn and my willingness to ask questions and discover. So there are lots of skills because I came from a very traditional background in terms of PR communications and branding, right? So it didn't include anything digital. So over the last 4 years, I've learned so many things. I learned how to build bots. I learned how to write funnels. I learned how to produce content, how to edit videos, how to film videos, how to, I mean, the amount of things I've kind of taught myself. I wrote my own book. I know how to meta tag stuff. I know how to edit sound. And over time, you pick up a whole bunch of skills that you have to learn in order to get you better. But every skill that I acquired, it was because I wanted to become better. I wanted to do more, and I wanted to be able to stand out from others. So if you were doing something at a basic level, for me, it needed to be at a particular level. So I had to learn how to do that. And I didn't have a whole bunch of money to hire a whole team to do a whole bunch of things. So I had to get down and learn things for myself. And I think what that has allowed me to do, it has allowed me to understand the entire process of not just building brand, but understanding where that is actually supposed to take you at the end of the day. So it's one thing for people to see you, and it's one thing for you to be visible, but it's another thing for that visibility to lead to a discussion, a conversation, a deal, a signed contract, and getting paid. is a different thing, because I can tell you how to get visible real easy. That's quick, that's easy. But the real money comes into how do I keep doing this over and over and over again. So understanding how that worked, because I always tell people prior to 2016, I didn't sell anything. My job wasn't selling, my job was marketing. So the whole idea of selling something literally gave me like, an allergy. I couldn't really deal with the whole idea of having to sell and go out and sell. Ew, that was gross. So I now had to reprogram my mind to understand that what selling is really serving. That's what it is. So I suppose out of all the skills I learned, selling was the biggest one and has had the biggest impact on me.
Yeah, love that stuff. Just like what you said, I love what you said about having to go out and learn all the skills yourself. And I realize most successful entrepreneurs, we've kind of had to do that the hard way, right? Because most individuals, I realize, they're either trying to find a shortcut of who could do that. Like, who can I just pay the money to do it for me when they don't even really have the money? And then they're like, well, I'm not going to do it until I could get the money to be able to pay someone. But the thing is, you're not making any money right now, right?
Yeah.
And for them, I know for myself, just like you said, you had to learn all the skills. And I think back on my own journey as well too. Like literally every single skill, whether it's the video editing, the sound, the lighting, the sales calls, the building the funnels, all of the stuff, like you literally have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key difference between most people. Some people, entrepreneurs, like we just naturally know, like, hey, whatever it takes, that's just what we got to do.
Yeah.
Versus the individuals who really don't last in this industry are the ones who are like, oh, that's what it's going to take. Well, maybe I'm not. And you could just tell, right?
Yeah.
So the final question becomes, what about habits wise? Is there a specific habit you've developed over the years that's really served you the most out of any other?
Any habits? Recently I found myself going into a hole where I kept working until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I actually had to put some restraint on myself in terms of work. So I definitely I start shutting down my machine at 9 p.m. no later than that, and I need to have all screens off by 10 so that I can have some time to recharge and get myself back in a particular place. Also going out and working out. I mean, walking. I mean, the weather is mostly always good here. So I mean, it would be a little bit criminal to not take advantage of that. Go out, run around the local park, and enjoy things outside of work. And I think in terms of habits, I try my best to find balance between work and play, because when I work too much, my mood goes down.
Mhm.
My mood goes down. So I just try my best to do that, and that has served me well. And because I do that, I'm able to recognize when one is not getting enough and the other is suffering.
Yeah, and powerful stuff. I love the way you said try your best, because I
Yeah,
know if most individuals, right? And I know even my journey when I was first getting started, I used to see successful people. And I'm like, man, this guy really has his stuff together, man. Like, whoa, this guy's like, wow. But then behind the scenes, when you really, really figure out what's going on, you realize we're all human, right? So we set these goals, we have these dreams, we have all these things we aspire to. At the same time, we're not all perfect. And the whole thing, I had a conversation with one of my previous guests, and the whole theme was like, hey, when you get into the game of personal development, business growth, entrepreneurship, you never
mhm,
arrive. It's always an ongoing process. And the guys who make it, the guys and women who actually get to the next level and hit the six figures, hit the seven figures, those are the
mhm.
ones who realize that if when I get started on this game, there's no getting off. The minute I get off, everything breaks. So I had to figure out what's the principles, whether it's the health, whether it's the balance and different things. And
Yeah,
every single day, keep working at it, keep working at it, keep working at it, knowing that it'll never be something that's always going to be there if I don't proactively every single day do something about it, right?
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So, question, I know we're out of time here, but if someone wanted to reach out, what would be the best way for them to connect?
Well, you can visit my website, www.jbannisterbranding.com. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active, and I put all of my content. I do my writing, I connect, I talk to people there. And just by searching Jamila Bannister. And on Instagram, you can look for me at JB Branding.
Awesome. And you got a book, right? What about your book?
I do have a book. I'm so proud of it. But I don't have one right close next to me, but it's called The Brand Print. And I actually wrote that book because I would always get the same questions over and over again about, so what about this about branding? And what if I want to do this? And what if I want to do that? And sometimes I would answer these questions and I realized to myself, I keep answering the same questions over and over again. And there was no easy codified way for people to find the answers. So there, as far as I know, there is no book on personal branding that has come out of Caribbean. And it really is something that anybody in any part of the world could use, because it lays down things in a systematic, strategic way where for you to start at a particular point, start with your confidence, start with yourself, then you go on to the strategy and the content, and then we end with the communication and all of the basics of entrepreneurship. So that book really is a strategy document and a guide to help you build a personal brand. It comes with cheat sheets, it comes with other free resources that you can access, and it also comes with a 10-day challenge that you can participate in once you purchase the book. And yeah, it's the how-to guide and how to build a profitable business, leveraging personal branding as your marketing tool.
Love it. Sounds exciting. Okay. Hey, well, Jamila, hey, thank you so much for making the time to be here with us today. Really appreciate it. Now, before we end, do you have any final thoughts?
I just like to tell persons, if you are an entrepreneur and you are looking to grow business, personal branding is one of your most powerful tools. Remember, people like to do business with people. They don't do business with logos, buildings, or any other generic form of company branding, but they like you. So choose you, put you first, and pursue the dreams that you love.
There we go, guys. And everything Jamila just mentioned in terms of resources, links to connect back with her, they will be right either above or below this video. So you could click on the link and connect directly with her. Well, hey, thanks again, Jamila, and we will be in touch, okay?
Okay, thanks, Texas, and take care, everyone.
Thank you.